Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Krystle.
As travel agents with fantastical vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 82 of Wanderlust and Wishes. Today, we're going to talk about one of our favorite spots that's not a theme park or not a cruise, Charleston, South Carolina. Krystle and I visit the Charleston area at least once or twice a year. Both of us do. It's one of our favorite spots, and we just thought it would be a great time to talk about it.
Yes, like Julie said, if Charleston, South Carolina has ever been on your travel bucket list, or you've been once and can't stop thinking about it, this is the episode for you.
You can plan basically a beach trip because there's several beaches that around the Charleston area, girls' weekend, a foodie getaway. It is very well known for all of the fun food spots it has. And even if you're just passing through for a cruise, it's just one of those places that has a ton of charm, and it's just the best. Every time I go, I feel like I find something new, but it's also kind of a comforting friend to go back to every single time.
Very true. This destination is very special to my family. We've been going every year. We stay on Isle of Palms every year for Harper's life, and she'll be 7. In fact, she guilted Grandma into going for Thanksgiving this year because we didn't do our annual beach week this summer. So it's kind of become a family tradition at this point, and we spend a lot of time not just at the beach, but bouncing around like Mount Pleasant, Sullivan's Island, and downtown. So more that side of town.
As you all know, I live south, a little bit south of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I actually live in South Carolina, just barely. But Charleston's a very quick 3.5-hour trip for me. I actually went to graduate school in Charleston at MUSC. I have been multiple times to Seabrook Island, which is maybe like 30, 45 minutes from Charleston. It's one of the beaches that we'll talk about. My family goes there. I go there with the girls, usually once a year. And then I also have one of my best friends happens to have a place there, and we go every maybe 2 or 3 times a year, just for a girls' weekend, just to do nothing, basically. We actually kind of joke and say that we're like the old ladies. We just go to like antiquing and coffee shops and stuff like that. It's always a fun time.
One of the first times we got talking, Julie and I, we actually bonded over Charleston. So This is a full circle moment. So today we're going to pull from like a Charleston bucket list, mixing in our personal favorites, and then adding in local recommendations from family and friends who live in Charleston, which honestly might be the best part of this episode. So
yeah, locals always know the great spots that are not just touristy spots. They're actually like really, really good food. So we're glad that we can bring that to the episode as well.
All right. So why is Charleston so special? It really has a very rare combo of history, incredible food, charming streets, beaches, and a slower pace that still somehow feels vibrant. There's something about that low country charm.
Yes, love the low country. You can do a weekend or a week or whatever time frame you're going that's completely packed with things to do, or you can just be super chill. It has both vibes. You can do either one.
And Julie already mentioned this, but it's one of those places where you can go back year after year and you still feel like you haven't done it all, or you find something new to do. So no matter how many times you go, you're always finding somewhere new to eat or someplace new to explore. Okay, I guess this is me. Let's start with things to do. And first off, we have to start with the classic Charleston experiences. So the historic district is probably the most well-known. And if it's your first time in Charleston, you have to explore, you like walking along the Battery, Rainbow Roads, the houses that are bright and colorful. Yes, it's touristy, but it's still worth it. Great Instagram picture spots. And then you have the waterfront and the Pineapple Fountain. We always do this on foot. We'll go find somewhere where to park and then just walk around. It's one of those places where you don't need a strict plan, just walking and exploring, and stop when something catches your eye.
So just to give you a little bit of background, because I love always understanding and knowing the background behind things, you will see, obviously, Krystle just mentioned Pineapple Fountain. You'll see pineapples everywhere in Charleston, and there's a history behind it. Back in the colonial era, pineapples were very rare. And so, you couldn't just go to the grocery store and get a pineapple. And they were very expensive to get them. So whenever captains went out on their trips out and returned back from the Caribbean, they would put a pineapple on the outside of their homes to signal that they arrived safely home and were welcoming visitors. So basically, the pineapple became a symbol of kind of Southern hospitality and welcoming visitors. Obviously, the most iconic pineapple in Charleston is the Pineapple Fountain, and it was designed specifically to reflect Charleston's identity as a hospitable and welcoming city. And so you will see them everywhere. I mean, you will see them in artwork, you will see them on street posts, you will see them on the houses everywhere. And that's really where that comes from.
I don't know if I ever knew that.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
If you want to hear more of the history side while you're in town, there are all sorts of tours that you can do. The Doors, look it up. The Doors of Charleston is an entire thing in and of itself. So there's the Doors tour, there's like the wrought iron tours, there's a pirate, there's a ghost, there's a gula, or even just hop on a horse and buggy around the Battery. You will learn so much, and it's such a different way to learn, but also just have an experience while you're doing it. Next up on the list is, if you hear anything about Charleston, you've probably heard about King Street. It is another must-do. Shopping, restaurants, people watching. It's such a fun stretch to walk. You'll find everything from like mom and pop boutiques to Stony Clover to things like Louis Vuitton. King Street dates back to the 18th century and was originally part of the early layout of the city, which was then known as Charlestown. The street was named in honor of King Charles II of England, reflecting the city's colonial roots. As Charleston grew into a major port city, King Street emerged as a vital commercial hub, first for traders and craftspeople, later for fashion, fine goods, and food.
It's for sure like a main artery of the city. King Street is split between 3 different sections. The lower section is Antiques and Art District. So that's south of Market Street. Lower King is known for its antique shops, art galleries, and historic buildings. Middle King, that is the Fashion and Design District. It's centered around Marion Square. So Middle King is the heart of Charleston's retail scene. Lots of chic boutiques, national retailers, high-end home design stores, etc. Those are all in this section. And just to give a quick little like backstory on Marion Square is named after Francis Marion, and he's also known as the Swamp Fox. He was very important to one of the battles in the Revolutionary War because he knew the swampy areas, and he was able to lead I don't know if you could call it a battalion, but basically a group of soldiers to kind of sneak attack the soldiers from England because they didn't know where they were going and what they were doing. And so because he knew it, they were able to win that battle. And that was like a really big deal.
The third district is Upper King. This is the culinary and nightlife district. So north of Calhoun Street, Upper King has seen the most dramatic transformation in recent years. It used to be quieter, but now it's the go-to destination for nightlife, innovation, and your bold Southern cuisine. So a lot of like modern gastropubs, speakeasies, award-winning restaurants is what you'll find here.
There's basically, no matter what kind of trip you have, no matter what type of trip or the group of people that you're with, there's something for everybody. It can work for any type of trip that you're taking.
Next on the list is one of my personal favorites. It's the Charleston City Market. We personally love the market. Is everything there, one of a kind, and usually, but you can find lots of fun, unique vendors, and there's just something pretty special about walking through it, grabbing snacks, browsing the local vendors. That's just part of the Charleston experience for us. There are sections of local makers, and you can sit and watch the sweetgrass basket weavers, as we like to sit and do that. And then we always have to stop in the middle part, right, where it's enclosed and AC'd to grab Callie's Hot Little Biscuits.
Yeah, majority of it is not AC. It's enclosed, but it's like outdoors. I don't know another way to describe it.
Basically like a covered porch.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. One of the other very well-known things in the area is the angel oak tree. It really is something that if you have the opportunity to go, you really should go. It's humongous. It's beautiful. The tree is estimated to be 400 to 500 years old. And really, it kind of stands as a symbol of resilience because it has been around before Charleston was founded. And then it's lived through all of the different phases of Charleston, through the colonization, through slavery, the Civil War, and now into modern Charleston. It is very well protected. There's a lot that goes into making sure that it gets preserved. Moving on, another major historic area is Fort Sumter. You can take a ferry out to the fort. So this is a big deal for history lovers. It is where the first shots of the Civil War were fired. So it is a national monument and, of course, an educational site as well.
Even if history isn't usually your thing, it's still a really meaningful experience. And the boat ride itself is pretty cool. You can start at Patriots Point and can explore the aircraft carrier, then hop on a ferry over to the fort. This is really neat for all ages. My military history loving husband was obsessed. I will note it is not very stroller friendly. The carrier has lots of stairs and tight spaces. And then I recommend checking the schedule and aiming for an earlier ferry over to the fort so you're not stuck over there in the heat of the day because Charleston can get toasty in the afternoon.
It's one of our favorite places to go, especially my youngest daughter, Ella. We love going to the South Carolina Aquarium, even if we don't have a lot of time to hang around in the city of Charleston. We always make room to go to the aquarium. It is a very fun, family-friendly stop. Again, it's at the Charleston Harbor, so it's right next to where, if you want to go over to Fort Sumter, it's in the same spot where you catch the ferry to go across. It has a lot of educational benefits. It highlights wildlife and ecosystems of the Lowcountry, so it's very specific to South Carolina. Visitors can explore everything from the mountain streams to coastal marshes. They also have touch tanks with stingrays. They have horseshoe crabs. They have a sea turtle hospital or care center. So there's a lot of the sea turtle conservation. They bring the turtles in and take care of them. And then once they're ready, they do release them back into the ocean. So you're not going to typically see, unless you visit like every week, you're not going to see the same turtles. So if you visit a couple times a year, you're going to probably see some different turtles throughout that time because they do try to release the turtles as soon as they are well enough. They also have a huge tank of tropical fish and sharks. They have lots of interactive exhibits for kids as well. And just in general, like it's right there on the harbor. So there's spots where you can walk outside and see the water. It's just a great spot. It's one of my favorite places for sure.
It's also such a great indoor activity for your rainy days or if you're in like a heat wave.
Yeah, good point.
Another popular thing about Charleston is all the plantations around. There are a lot of them that are still standing. One of our favorites is the Magnolia Plantation. My kids absolutely loved the train ride around the property. I found it very educational. And maybe they're a scene of the Notebook in, what is that, in the pond with the bridge?
I don't know.
I don't remember either, but there's like the iconic pond and there's like the little white bridge, but they all look the same.
I mean, Magnolia Plantation is very well known for its gardens. It has beautiful gardens. So that could definitely have been the case. In addition to that, it's well known for its direct and educational approach about slavery. They don't really tiptoe around it. Their preserved slave cabins are part of their site. They have exhibits and tours that focus on the daily lives, labor, family structures, and resilience of the slaves. The narrative of the education centers on the experience of slave life rather than minimizing it. They provide a very upfront and truthful version. So it is a great example of how Charleston can be extremely educational and family friendly at the same time.
It was very eye-opening to see because they have like the cabin set up in a way that it's like, this is what they first looked like. And then as technology progressed, this is what they looked like. And so you kind of like walk through these cabins and like fast forward 50 years in each one. And it's amazing just to see how they lived and to hear about their experiences. All right, let's talk about beaches. this is normally why we go, but Charleston gives you lots of options. So there's Isle Palms. This is our go-to, especially with kids. There's Sullivan's Island. It's charming, great food nearby. I would dare say this is more of a locals beach. Then you have Folly Beach, more laid back surfer vibes. This is where you'll find the lighthouse, more of like the touristy popular area. And then you have Kiowa and Seabrook. These are both more upscale, quieter, gorgeous. I know Seabrook is Julie's favorite. Kiowa, you can't even really get on without like an invite. Your name has to be on a list from like a resident, or you have to have a reservation.
Yeah, it's the same way with Seabrook. You can't get on unless you have a reservation.
So just to give you all an idea, from the center of Isle Palms, you're only 17 miles to downtown. And you can go through Sullivan's from Isle Palms to, and that's only 9 miles. Kiowa and Seabrook are 25, 27 miles, and Folly is 22. All right. Shem Creek is another one of our favorites, especially for sunsets. There's a lot of good food. You might be stumble upon a filming of Outer Banks if you're lucky. It's a tidal creek lined with restaurants, bars, shrimp boats, docks, making it a popular spot for both locals and visitors. People come to Shem Creek to enjoy fresh seafood. You can watch dolphins swim through the water and catch some of the best sunsets in the Charleston area.
There's a boardwalk that runs along the creek, so it makes it perfect for just strolling along and looking at, honestly, some of the wildlife. That's one of the other things that I love so much about Charleston is because it's on the water, there's wildlife everywhere, no matter where you are, and you can just kind of soak it all in. You'll often see kayakers and paddle boarders out on the water. And then, of course, like Krystle mentioned, you can see the shrimp boats, which adds a little bit of authenticity to the fact that it's a low country area. But in general, it's just a fun place to kind of bounce around, grab a drink, and watch the boats.
Last summer, we did a fishing charter out of Shem Creek. Shout out to Captain Mike with Salty Angler Fishing. He was fantastic. We had Calder with us, and it was such a great experience. And we even thought about calling him again when we were there for Thanksgiving. But John's like, I'm not going to ruin his Thanksgiving.
Okay, so next we just want to focus on finding your home base. So if you want to be in Charleston, where do you want to stay? Do you want to stay at the beach, or do you want to stay, closer to the city or whatever? There's really no wrong place to stay at all. It's really more about what type of trip that you want.
The way we usually do it is we usually rent a beach house. This is great for families or groups. We like that it gives you space, your full kitchen, laundry, easy beach access usually, and it just feels more relaxed, especially with the kids. This is usually our go-to when we're doing our annual Palms trip.
It's great if you're trying to get a larger space, if you're traveling with another family, or if you're just doing a longer stay, if you're there for a week. But you can still pop into downtown Charleston. It's not that far of a drive in, but you have a nice, relaxing home base.
If you want more of a resort feel on Isle of Palms, Wild Dunes is one of the most popular. It's a gated resort community with hotels and vacation rentals, multiple pools, golf, tennis, restaurants, and direct beach access. In fact, our beach house we were in over Thanksgiving had gate access to the resort. So I actually got in contact with one of the travel agent contacts at the resort and did a mini tour while I was there. The rooms are gorgeous. This resort feels a lot like Disney's beach or yacht club. To me, you have like your food, your shopping, your pools all on site with beach access. In fact, I might stay there. I was like trying to talk them into being like, hey, we should try this out one time.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Obviously, it's a family-friendly option, but you could still go if you wanted to do a couples trip. It's kind of its own destination because it's a resort community, but you're still close to Mount Pleasant and Charleston where you can go out and do other things. Kiowa Island and Seabrook, they are kind of sister islands. They're basically at the same spot. Kiowa is just north and Seabrook is on the south side, and the Edisto River is also on this, like the south side of Seabrook. So you can stay on the river side of Seabrook or the ocean side of Seabrook. Kiowa has just the ocean portion, but both of them are very similar in they're very quiet. They are gated. You have to either live there or you have to have a reservation. You can't just show up to either Kiowa or Seabrook and go to one of their beaches. One of the places there that you can stay that's specific to Kiowa is the Kiowa Island Golf Resort. Obviously, you have the golf course, and that is a very popular place for golfers to go for golf weekends or golf trips. It has an upscale feel, but it is very nature focused and very peaceful and not super touristy.
Yeah, we haven't even scratched the surface with all the golf. John has golfed one of these courses, not the big one, because there's like some of the best golf in the country on Cuba. But just to even be on the island was such a unique experience. There's the Charleston Harbor Resort and Marina in Mount Pleasant. This is a great middle ground option. You're right on the water. You get incredible views of the harbor and downtown skyline. And then there is a water taxi that will take you back and forth to the city.
Oh, that's so fun. It is great because it feels like it's a resort, but it also keeps you connected to downtown Charleston, that you can just jump on the water taxi and go right over. So if you want water views without staying right in the historic district, this is a great spot. The Tides at Folly Beach. If you want laid back, beachfront, just a little bit more casual, Tides Folly Beach is the only oceanfront hotel on Folly.
Like we mentioned earlier, Folly is more like your surfer vibes, fun restaurants. I wouldn't call it relaxed energy, but if you're at the beach, it can be relaxed. This is a great option for couples, girls trips, anyone who wants to walk out onto the beach and not overthink it.
No matter where you stay, whether you stay on the beach in a beach house or at a resort or downtown adjacent, you can still easily experience all of Charleston. It's easy to kind of mix and match the vibes throughout your trip.
It really just comes down to what kind of trip you were dreaming about. And that's where working with one of us, shameless plug, who knows the area really well helps. All right, so food is where Charleston really shines. We're gonna try and be quick about this. There's a lot of good food.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots.
Barely scratching the surface, but Charleston does not mess around with food. So first up, Chubby Fish. This place has a line out the door. They don't take reservations, and it just won a major award, possibly a Michelin star or something of that nature. Tiny, no-frills seafood spot serving some of the most creative and elevated dishes in Charleston.
Basically, if a place, doesn't take reservations and it still has a line out the door, it's a pretty good spot. Next, 167 Raw. It is oysters and seafood. I'm sure you could tell by the name. It is casual seafood staple known for its fresh oysters, lobster rolls, and consistently amazing quality. The next two have the same owner. They're both fantastic. They just have different vibes. The Fig and the Ordinary. The Fig is more refined. It's ingredient-driven restaurant that helped define modern dining in Charleston. The Ordinary is high-energy oyster restaurant with raw bar, classics, and stunning historic setting.
Next, we have Wild Olive and Obstinate Daughter. Again, these both have the same owner. Wild Olive is on John's Island. Obstinate Daughter is on Sullivan's. Wild Olive is a cozy Italian spot with house-made pasta and a neighborhood feel worth the drive. Obstinate Daughter is Mediterranean-inspired dishes with bold flavors and a beachy upscale vibe. We just did Obstinate Daughter, and it was really good. Highly recommend it. I had a pasta. John had like the catch of the day. Chef's kiss. Next, we have Husk. This is Southern seafood, elevated classic Charleston, modern Southern restaurant focused on local ingredients and reimagined low country flavors. Next, we have Zao Bao Biscuit. It's an Asian-inspired, fun, creative, must-try, laid-back, globally inspired spot, blending Asian flavors with Charleston creativity. And then you can't talk about Charleston without barbecue. Two really good ones. Rodney Scott's Barbecue. It's the whole hog barbecue cooked over wood coals by the award-winning pitmaster. And then you have Lewis Barbecue, which is Texas-style barbecue with legendary brisket and big flavors. So pick one, pick both.
Okay, so if you're traveling with kids, here are some solid spots for family-friendly restaurants. The Bohemian Bull, that's on James Island. It is burgers, tacos, and outdoor seating, super relaxed atmosphere, coastal crust. It's artisan pizza and Italian favorites. That's always an easy win for kids and families. Mex One is casual Mexican food with fast service and fun beach town energy. Page's Okra Grill, classic Southern comfort food that feels like a Charleston institution. Leon's, it is fried chicken and soft serve, elevated comfort food and laid back setting. with cult favorite desserts. And then Fleet Landing, it is waterfront dining with seafood classics and unbeatable harbor views.
Another one, if you talk to my husband about Charleston, he will tell you about Saltwater Cowboys. That is his favorite. It's right at Shim Creek, and it's one of those places where you go for the views, the atmosphere, and a very Charleston experience. Basically, laid back waterfront spot known for seafood, cold drinks, live music, some of the best sunsets. We've been there many times during sunset. It's very casual, stay a while, expect dolphins to swim by while you eat. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's perfect if you're already at the Shim Creek area, you've been walking around, and you're just looking for a place to get a relaxed meal and have the low country experience.
All right, let's talk about treats and desserts. If you don't like desserts, who hurt you? There's Carmela's, always expect a line. It's late night desserts, cakes, pastries that are absolutely worth the wait. Then you have Kaminsky's. It's also cakes, classic dessert bar, known for towering slices of cake and indulgent sweets. We have off-track ice cream, small batch, inventive ice cream with unique flavors. Republic Ice Cream, a locally made ice cream inspired by low country ingredients. John still talks about the hot fudge sundae he got there. And I feel like they have multiple locations around him. And then we always stop at Callie's Hot Little Biscuits. And then the famous biscuits, because you have like the sweet and savory. So get a mix. Get like the ham one, get the raspberry jam one.
Okay, let's talk about coffee shops. They have several fantastic stops for coffee. Kudu, it's a cozy little coffee house with strong local vibe, outdoor seating. Harbinger, it's bright, modern cafe known for excellent coffees and pastries. Second State, consistently great coffee with multiple locations, and they have a loyal local following. Both Brown's Court and Bannon's on Cannon. These are two local favorites that serve great coffee and relaxed spaces. Hiroyuki, this is just a super fun vibe. It's kind of trendy, stylish cafe, blends coffee with a modern energy.
And bonus, most of these places also have incredible pastries. So if you're not into coffee, try them out for the pastries.
If you want something that's a little different, there's an area called Park Circle in North Charleston. I think I don't want to say it's new, but it's kind of a newer, trendier area with shops and restaurants. Just a fun local growing spot. I've been there with my friends. We went and walked around the shops and grabbed a coffee.
I don't think I realized what it was called, but looking at pictures, I've totally been there. All right, we barely scratched the surface of all things Charleston. But I love that Charleston works for so many different kinds of trips, whether it's a family vacation, a couple's getaway, a girls' weekend, food focus, or even just as a cruise port, because a lot stop in town. There's a little something for everybody.
You heard from both Krystle and myself that we have our favorite spots, and we continue to go back because there's just something about it. The Low Country, for sure, it just holds a special place in my heart, even just as a Southerner growing up in North Carolina as well. Like, we have the Outer Banks, similar kind of area. The coastal areas of the Carolinas are just a really special spot. There's so much history there because of the colonization. They were the first areas really to be colonized, at least in the United States piece of North America. So there's a lot of history that a lot of people don't necessarily know all about. And then you obviously have the beaches, and there's just a ton of personality in Charleston. And it really does exude Southern hospitality and everything that it represents.
So if Charleston isn't already on your bucket list, it should be. And if it already is, I think this is your sign to finally book the trip. And, we're always happy to help you with any of your trip planning needs.
We hope that this off-road path to something other than theme parks and cruises was a fun episode for everybody. As you can tell, Krystle and I both love this area, and we would love to help you get there as well. We hope you have a fantastic week. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.
Bye for now.